This is just a quick video to address an item of news that I think is being buried a little bit by the coronavirus updates. A few months ago, I signed a petition along with 120,000 other people to ask the Home Office to release the full grooming gang report that was written. I believe it was commissioned by the Home Secretary, Sajid Javid, to fully investigate the grooming gang scandal that's been happening over the past few decades that only came to light a few years ago. I've never addressed it on the channel before, although I may have mentioned it in a few live streams. To be honest with you, I don't really know where to start with all of this. I think everyone in the UK is already aware of it, and although I do have a lot of other thoughts on it, I think the main thing I'd like to get across is that I believe very much in the transparency of information on this subject. But considering that a large part of the scandal was that the local police and the local authorities were covering up this terrible grooming gang situation, it feels a little bit like a slap in the face to now continuing to be covering up information and not letting us know what's going on. Yesterday morning, I received an email from the petition website saying that the government had responded to the petition, as they had to because over 100,000 people signed it. And there was a fairly long email that I won't go into now explaining all the things that the government is doing to try to bring justice to the perpetrators and to ensure that this sort of thing never happens again. My understanding is that this particular report was written for internal use, meaning that it's a report for the police to read and to learn from. And the information in the report is said to not be for public consumption. I read somewhere that the worry is that the information in the report could be taken out of context and misunderstood by the general public. Certainly that is true of all information to varying extents. It's pretty much impossible for any fact or any information to tell the whole story. There's always the potential for missing out crucial pieces of information that change the whole way that we can see what's going on. But to me and to a lot of other people who signed the petition, I think this feels like a lame excuse. It's my opinion that the government works for the people, using the money made by the people, and this report was written using the money that was earned by the general public, and therefore it is the property of the general public. I understand that there are many circumstances when the government has a very good reason that is in the public interest to not share certain pieces of information for general consumption, usually for our own security. From what I understand, there is still some possibility that they may release the report, which is part of the reason why I wanted to make this video and let everyone know that this is a situation that's going on and that there may still be something we can do about it. Perhaps not another petition, because that would be sort of redundant given that we just had a petition. I'm just making this video so that you know that it's not too late if that is something that you do feel you'd like to do. I think it's really important for information on, especially on very sensitive subjects, to be transparent, for everyone to observe, for everyone to be able to look at and debate about, and we can come to our own conclusions about it. We can come to an informed conclusion about the situation. I think whoever's in charge of this report, and whether it gets published or not, is probably afraid of there being some kind of vigilante justice or some kind of, inciting of racial hatred or faith-based prejudice. And I completely understand that. If I'm being honest, I think that sort of response might be expected. And of course, that's something that I don't condone. But I think not publishing this report is only delaying that response. Information cannot be prejudiced intrinsically. It's only a description of simply what is. It's a description of reality. And it's very possible for people to twist that reality to fit their own narrative and be misleading with the facts. But that's why we have an open forum for discussion and debate, so that others can then point out that context and get closer to the truth. I think with or without this report, we're going to get to the truth one day, and I think it would be nice to have the government on our side when that day comes. Keeping information from us and treating us like children or worse, treating us like a bunch of racists, I think is only going to stir up animosity between the people and the government, which from an accelerationist point of view might be a good idea if your wish is for a revolution. But to be honest, I'd rather not see a revolution in my lifetime unless it's absolutely necessary. I guess my main point is just to repeat that the Home Office wrote this report for us, ostensibly for our benefit, for the benefit of everybody in the UK who is protected by the police force. And while I understand that it's not wise to release every single piece of information in the report, I think it would be good to release as much of it as is possible, and it is certainly in the public interest to do so. Not so that we can act on that information violently or take justice into our own hands, but so that we know what is going on and what has been going on. We've had enough of the lies and the obfuscation. But what did you think of this matter? Did you sign the petition? Did you get that email response on Saturday? If you did or did not sign the petition, I'd like to hear your opinion about it in the description, especially if you're from the UK, but if you're not, it would be interesting to hear your perspective as well. As always, thank you very much for watching, and I hope to see you again soon.